Welcome to Loyalize, a podcast by Dsquares about customer engagement and customer loyalty.
At Dsquares, we prioritize building meaningful relationships with our end-to-end loyalty solution.
I'm Karim, Hussein, CEO and co-founder at Prepit.
I'm Tarek, Afia, Chief Product Officer and co-founder at Prepit.
Tell us how you started Prepit.
So I believe me and Tarek, we're close friends and we've been working together for a long time at Vodafone, mainly in the growth and commercial part. And we've both took different roles in the same field, and we have passion towards this commercial growth job. The idea came in mind after successfully implementing growth models in different industries, distribution, entertainment, teleco. We decided to let's go and build this customer value management system to merchants, to small, medium, and large merchants. And the sector that we started with was the restaurant sector, the F&B sector. We've tested the idea and we've started the MVP, me and Mohammed Sharif, in end of 2021. Mohammed Sharif is our co-founder and is taking care of the technology part of the company. So he's our CTO. And we started the MVP stage in Canada, which is a very technologically advanced market. And we moved to the MENA region. We have the idea in mind to grow this globally, not sell it only. So it's built in Egypt and it's from Egypt to sell it globally everywhere else. So we still have this eye in mind to build this in Egypt and grow it globally everywhere and sell it everywhere.
As Karim was saying, Prepit is built on our cumulative experience in growth, specifically when it comes to the telecom industry. And I think what's been pushing this company forward is our passion and commitment to that area. The bulk of our experience has been built on that foundation. This is where we learned. This was our school. So the idea was to set out and do that in the F&B industry. However, the F&B industry is just the tip of the iceberg. It's the beginning. It's a great test market for us to begin, or a test industry, let's say, for us to pilot our solutions in. But that doesn't limit us to just that industry. We plan to expand beyond that, go into other industries and sort of replicate that success in with other forms of clients at large.
What we've found that there is no loyalty system in the market right now that actually automates the CVM function for restaurants. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to automate the CVM using our AI technology advances or technology models that we're building in the back end.
And from there, I think if I would only add one thing, it would be that automation is relative here to the size of the kind of clients that we're working with. So we try to focus on SMEs. Being able to automate a solution like that and reach that kind of business objective using Prepit's technology sort of mitigates the lack of resources, the lack of time, the lack of skills for instance, in the F&B industry, you'd find. So the enablement comes from there. Automation is only a byproduct of the reality of the segment that we are working in and the industry that we are attacking.
Speaking of automation, how do you analyze consumer behavior, or how does consumer behavior change pre and post loyalty in F&B specifically?
So people started to when we use AI and personalized gifting and personalized promotions, now you start to build a direct relationship between you and the brand, between your brand and the end users. And that's what we're trying to enable each and every brand to do through Prepit. And hence you'll find an increase in frequency, increase in even ticket size. People will start to talking specifically about F&B. They will try different things in your menu, different products, and you will see more frequent users and more repeat orders. And that's the objective, I guess, of each and every brand in F&B.
Where does loyalty and customer experience overlap in that industry?
I think that's a core point because people do loyalty in different ways and they build that kind of, we can call it retention in their customer bases using different techniques. I think a huge part of what we're doing is not only, well, firstly, it's the idea of personalizing the touch points that we create with these customers and making sure that whatever it is that we're doing is tailored specifically to each and every customer. It's not an on average sort of equation. So that's the first thing. When it comes to user experience, this is, I think, one of our strengths as well. It's very important for us to gamify our experiences and to create an engaging platform that enables these users to constantly want to engage. It's not only about value, it's not only about discounts, it's not only about that, but it's what kind of journey have I created for these customers in order to follow with an end in mind. Now, if we take personalization into account, this means that for every customer, or for every group of customers on a macro level, there is an objective. Not all of the objectives are the same for different customer segments. We try to balance, again, between personalization and experience in order not to fall into the pitfall of having to rely on discounts and having to rely entirely on value, let's say.
How about the human element? How does that come into play? Because in the service industry, obviously, it's all about that human interaction.
I've spent a big part of the R&D working as a server. I've tried to upsell manually in different ways, and I've tried to see this hospitality experience and the personal experience that you need to leave in your place in order to create this retention, or to reach this retention results. You don't have to remove the personal element. Actually, what Prepit is doing is adding one more advanced tool for your team to use.
And ultimately what happens with the customer is that the customer feels that, for instance, we understand what their cycle is when it comes to every establishment. So we have a sense of when they like to visit the restaurant, whether or not they're going to be ordering delivery, understanding what kinds of items that they create. So that increase in data allows the interaction. Let's take away the human aspect for just now and just focus on the action itself. The interaction between the client and the restaurant becomes intimate or personal, right? Now, bringing in the human factor doesn't only stop at ordering. There's a lot that goes into the experience of the customer. And when you're talking to F&B professionals, you understand that the way that they design these experiences, how the shop is designed, what the first thing the customer needs to see when they're outside, when they go in, how the staff interact with them. There's still a lot of that human aspect there, but we've enabled our clients to be able to see more and not rely on humans to be able to store that data, right? So that's the idea.
So diversifying the experience in different ways. So you have the human element, you have the automated element or the digital element, and as you said, all these other things in the periphery that are feeding into this experience even on a subconscious level.
Exactly, because the introduction of technology doesn't necessarily mean the decrease or the alleviation of the human element. It's what you do with it. And given that we provide the solution to our clients as a white label solution, we don't say that you now have Prepit. They sort of identify with the product as if it's their own. So it's up to them to sell it and push it and sort of put together the mechanism with which they are now going to interact with their client. So if I have a new tool, then I need to completely reimagine how I'm going to do that. And that reimagination leaves room again for the human element without taking away that little bit of intimacy that F&B professionals really love and clients as well really love, or customers.
I was reading a book called The Nordstrom Way.
That's why I read a book. Wow.
I actually didn't read it, but I was flipping through it. Anyways, I was flipping through a book called The Nordstrom Way, and retail, obviously, in that sector, trying to digitize all the touch points has been very much a thing that Nordstrom is really known for. Just because machines and the digital experience is on the rise, but that doesn't mean that the human element is dead. It's about how the human element uses the digital element as well together in a homogeneous way that feed into each other.
Absolutely. And it's more so with the F&B industry. So fashion retail is one thing, and I think it goes without saying that different segments or different kinds of brands like to interact with their clients differently. The same as in F&B, but I think the reliance on the human factor in F&B is to a great extent bigger. But the question is, does it need to be?
Does it need to be? Do you think it differs? Like it differs for the different kinds of restaurants that are, for example, fast food chains. What sort of human element needs to be there? Fine dining, does there need to be a human aspect there? How do you reach a middle ground?
It's in my opinion, it's not a middle ground. There is no middle ground. It's a rearrangement. You have one more thing in the mix. How do you rearrange the experience for it to still retain that intimate factor? At the end of the day, it's about the end, right? The end in mind. So the end in mind is to have an intimate experience for the customer, to have an intimate experience at my establishment, right? So how do I do that with that new tool mix that I have?
So there's no one size fits all.
No, absolutely not. And every brand is different. Every brand wants to. There are some brands that want to create completely digital branches. And there are other brands that want to completely keep it mom and pop and deal with their customers directly.
I really like what you said about it being tools. They're all tools, and in your toolbox, there's no magic fix for anything. So, which brings me to how is loyalty transforming the way F&B businesses operate?
F&B lacks a lot of data visibility. What we're trying to do right now is to help restaurant owners to take data-driven decisions, starting by building customer profiles for their end users. Imagine you have a store, you have more than 3-4 million people walking by your store every single year, but you know nothing about them. You only know what they ordered as and the total amount that they spent in your receipts, and you have inventory data, but you have nothing that can classify customer profiles. And I believe that this is going to not only help them growing their revenues, number of orders, ticket sizes, but even they can grow their menu, what they're selling, their core product, and even give them a lot of ideas on taking data-driven decisions on their next move of expansion. A lot of SMEs struggles with this. You'll find different growth or expansion models, like franchise models and different things. But data-driven decisions will help you set the right expansion plan. What's your next brand, and where's your next branch?
I love that, and we're gonna get to the data a bit later. If you could define loyalty in F&B that's not repeat customers.
If I'm selling a burger, I have to be like the best burger place for you. Then you're a loyal customer. Even if you're trying different brands, but I'm the best one. I'm scoring the highest in the Net Promoter Score, okay, or the NPS. But right now, no one is even calculating this, and no one knows who's the best, who's your real loyal customers other than repeat orders. And through data, we're also trying to create this and let the brand owners know more about their real retained customers or real loyal customers.
I completely agree with Karim, specifically when it comes to F&B, the decision-making process is different. So we come from a school of teleco. And teleco is a utility. It's no longer something that you decide to have or not, right? So there's a decision to be made, duality aside, as to which operator am I going to be mainly working with, right? In F&B, it's a different thing. The decision-making process is a little bit emotional. It's a little bit social. It's a little bit dependent on what's been going on in your day. So it's there are lots of external variables that kind of attack that. So 100%, it's not only that I love this burger place, so I'm going to eat there every time. Diversification is a huge part of the F&B experience. But there are other metrics to kind of see that and have that that relationship with the customer where, even though they're trying different burger places, they're trying different products, at the end of the day, they are, in a way or another, an ambassador for your brand.
Okay, let's play a fun game of Would You Rather. Would you rather get access to a secret menu item or a free drink with each visit?
For me, get a secret menu item. I love surprises. I want to try different things. Yeah.
I think a free drink with each visit, just to demonstrate, I think it depends on the place, but I would go for a free drink with each visit if, for instance, it's my favorite coffee place, right?
Saving costs.
So saving costs. I like consistency, but like surprises, not that much.
Exclusivity versus gift. I like that. Would you rather get a free meal for your birthday or get invited to a special tasting event?
I'll go definitely not for tasting. I will get a special meal for my birthday. I don't like tasting. I have I can't take risks with my tummy.
I thought you liked surprises.
And this is my problem. Like, I'm taking care of the sales part of Prepit.
Yeah.
So I've been in this position a lot of time. Like, I have to try different things in different restaurants, But yeah, I'm always trying to avoid this. Anyways.
It says like special tasting event. I like the exclusivity.
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
You answered the opposite to the first question, even though they're both kind of the same.
Yeah.
Would you rather earn points for sticking to your favorite meals or trying new items?
Sticking to my first answer, definitely new items.
It's my favorite. I want it again.
By the way, Tarek loves to cook, so maybe he likes his meal. Like his.
But I really enjoy getting cooked for as well.
Yeah.
Would you rather your points never expire, but only redeem them for specific items, or expire in 6 months, but redeemable for anything?
It's a very specific mechanism. Can you answer first? Because I just went to
I'll
work.
tell you what we use. We use the second one in order to always give, the flexibility to the customer.
Flexibility in reward or flexibility in time?
In reward, more than time. Like, actually, in time, from the growth perspective, we want you to place this order right now.
Exactly.
Like, give you the flexibility to choose.
So the 6 months thing kind of rings a bell. And it's important to expire the
And that's
points
that's
and
what
keep
we
it.
have as a terms of and conditions.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
pointing
yeah.
system.
We actually do have 6 months on points expiry.
I guess it's very common.
Keeps things fresh.
Keeps things fresh, but this is the thing. This is a very interesting segment, actually. These choices, because it really demonstrates at the end of the day the what we need to do as far as personalization. You'll find a customer that would like to try something different every time. Another customer that likes to keep it consistent. Some customers like gamification. Some customers like exclusivity. They want to get included one way or another. The way that they get this inclusion is different from one customer to another. So yeah, this is, I think, the perfect demonstration of why you need to be flexible and go for tailored products and go for personalization when it comes to loyalty specifically, to sort of balance out that diverse palette of tastes.
You can achieve a lot of that, as you say, with the balance, with the help of AI and next gen technologies and services, in order to personalize and hyper target and have the brand fit around the customer needs and expectations. But coming back to balance and coming back to data, how do you gather that data? How do you know your customer in F&B?
I believe that specifying the moment of truth is the most important thing in order to acquire the customer data. So I guess order taking in the F&B is the best moment. You can convince the end user to give you the whatever KYC you're looking for.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think that's what we've built into our experience. At the end of the day, order and pay is a byproduct of what we set out to do. We need to capture customer data, so we need to have a platform within which the customer can actually transact, and for us to see the behavior that they're going through and the journey that they're going through. That being said, that experience, that user journey is very, very important in order to increase the success rate of you actually convincing the customer to give you their data, and for them to create a profile, essentially, because they do it themselves. So yeah, I agree. It's a very important point.
You mentioned data-driven decisions, making better data-driven decisions. So what decisions are made easier with data, or this visibility, this new visibility on data? What sort of decisions are then are then easier, quicker, more efficient?
So, actually at this early stage, we've helped restaurants creating new bundles in their menu item. And how we got this, we've seen from our food basket analysis, the combinations of orders, and we've helped them to specify a specific, menu items that they could believe it's a dog item, and we, after coming up with this specific bundle, it turned to be a star item.
It's a very cool thing. It is, but also I think from the growth perspective, there's that. If it becomes a question of who and what, right? So who is the customer? What am I going to give them? When am I going to actually get to them? And what is the mechanism or the how of how they're going to get the value? So data enables you to go through that. It's a matrix that unlocks a plethora of different options when it comes to how to retain customers, how to engage with customers. And at the end of the day, it's not only about giving value. Sometimes it's just about keeping the brand top of mind and making sure that the customer remembers the establishments that they love.
I think a big issue now is having too much data, big data, and then what to do with that data. And a lot of people struggle with that step, or a lot of businesses struggle with that step. You mentioned customer profiles. So how do you approach a specific segment, let's say Gen Z?
It's a very interactive segment that needs a lot of innovation in terms of gifting and promo creation, in terms of different triggers that we're using in order to interact or engage this specific segment.
Yeah, and it's this is actually brand specific. So for instance, if we have one of our clients that has everything designed down to address that segment, right? Other places are a little bit more, what would you say, age agnostic maybe, right? So the brand really helps actually. I mean, the activity that we're doing and the creativity comes into play. So like Karim was saying earlier on in a previous segment that we follow a certain points approach when it comes to our experience. The more the brand is leaning towards a specific age segment, or let's say for sake of argument, Gen Z, room opens up to have creative rewards that really target these people.
If you could give me 3 things or 3 pillars that could turn a walk-in customer, most people are walk-in customer, into a loyal customer at a restaurant, what would they be?
Number one is personalization. You have to, when it comes to loyalty, you have to give a personalized reward at the right time, at the right moment, and with everything else. Number two, you have to be offering a good food. Number three, this customer has to leave with a good customer experience at the end of the day.
Karim tackled the question from a more holistic approach. He's the CEO. For me, from the product perspective, I would say value, gamification, and consistency.
What do you mean by value?
Okay, so whether the value is an actual value, monetary value, or whatever the kind of value is, the customer needs to feel that one way or another, they are gaining value out of this. Either they're gaining value out of the experience, as you said, out of the food, getting actual monetary value out of their transaction. But there needs to be value. There could be social value attached to their experience, whether it's online or offline. So that's where I mean value. They always need to feel like there's something there for them, right? And even the least value sensitive or the least price sensitive customer appreciates that eighth free cup of coffee after you've already bought 7, right? Because it shows a sense of appreciation. That's value, right? Gamification is the essence of engagement. You need to create different points of engagement with that customer. Again, either online or offline, but that adds to the value aspect because you've actually done some effort. I've engaged with you and you feel like you've done some effort in order to gain that value. And that's very, very valuable actually for the customer. And the last thing is consistency. If I am not there, if I'm not talking to the customer, and once every blue moon I appear, that's not really a formula for success when it comes to customer retention.
Loyalty in F&B, or let's use the example of a coffee shop, was always the stamp cards.
Of course, punch cards, yeah.
Is that still how F&B businesses are doing it?
Lots of people have played around with this, and it's clear that it ultimately falls back to more or less these three pillars that we've been talking about. At the end of the day, mobile apps could die tomorrow, and there will be another format or another medium with which we can engage with customers, and that's constantly going to change. But I don't think that a lot of the F&B industry has access to this kind of gamification, actually. And this is what we're setting out to do. Not necessarily provide gamification, but to provide customer engagement, right? If you're not a Starbucks, if you're not a McDonald's, if you're not a Tim Hortons or whatever, people are not going to download your app. They're just not going to download your mobile app. That lifespan is, and lots of people in the F&B industry have tried. So the idea is to how do we create something and make it accessible to that industry so that they can reap the benefits of that gamification, of that customer engagement, like the big players have actually managed to do.
You mentioned something there that kind of gave me, was it the chicken or the egg that came first? Which is, so...
Chicken came first.
Is that the fact?
Yep.
Where did the chicken come from?
We know it's the band of one of our friends. Chicken came first.
Opposite is there, but the more likely scenario is that you're going to go try the place, and then on your second visit you're going to download the app if you have that high of a potential to download the app, right? But what we've done in Prepit is that we've designed the life cycle. It's not about the tool, it's not about the platform. It's about the journey that the customer goes through in order to, as you said, convert from being just a regular walk-in or casual customer into a more loyal customer for the establishment. So it's not a matter of whether it's a mobile app or not. It's more, what am I doing to hold the customer's hand and walk him through the stages to ultimately reach a point where I've created enough inherent loyalty to this establishment and download the app and use the app and engage on that level.
Let's move on to Dsquares and Prepit's strategic partnership. Let's talk a little bit about that and what were the driving factors that led to this partnership.
I believe we're continuing the vision that Dsquares already started in being the global leader in enterprise and providing enterprise loyalty platforms. We're building this for retailers, small, medium, large, and we're having the plan to tackle different sectors. And I guess having Dsquares on board backing us up, we're like continuing this vision or the story.
Being a leader in the enterprise part makes sense for us to kind of complete the picture with our approach in tackling SMEs, and I think that's an important factor. And I think that the technologies themselves are complementary, be it by enterprise grade platforms that they've created or the automated solutions that we've created. And the idea is how do we join forces in a way that elevates the level of service that we give to our clients and to their clients, and possibly even open up new possibilities that haven't been on the horizon before.
Obviously, this partnership places Dsquares at the forefront of next-gen services in driving hyper-personalization, using Prepit's AI models. But I wanted to ask how will this partnership impact Prepit's current clients?
So currently we're having Dsquares on board. We're coming up with different co-products that is going to make loyalty for our customers not only a retention tool but also acquisition tool. So and that's what really the F&B sector is looking for, acquiring more customers. And now with our partnership, we're going to be the leader in the market in providing or changing the concept of loyalty that helps you acquiring customers and also retaining customers.
I completely agree, and I think that's from the commercial perspective. From the technical perspective, the current stack that Dsquares operates with opens up possibilities for Prepit to use these tools in a different way and better address the needs of our customers. And I think one of the biggest things that we actually got out of this whole situation is time. right? Because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. This entire company has been built on the premise of scanning the market, understanding who does what best, and partnering up with these people in order to create the best kind of bouquet of services that we can for our customers. So that's from a technical perspective.
I know you mentioned acquisition, and that's something that's on the horizon. What else can we expect from this partnership?
Dsquares definitely we're leveraging on its footprint of more than 20,000 different retailers in different sectors. Will help Prepit, as you know, as we've mentioned, our expansion plan is not only to focus on F&B, but to expand to different sectors in e-commerce, and we're with the experts. So we believe that we can leverage on this scaling for any startup, and time for any startup in the tech industry. I guess it's the most crucial thing for you to reach whatever targets you set for yourself in the future. And definitely Dsquares will fasten this, will help us to move faster on this. Acquiring more merchants, expanding different sectors, and expanding different markets. I cannot miss that. Yeah, we will definitely leverage on the different markets: Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Africa, and the big players. We're planning to have all these markets and penetrating all these markets in the near future. And could be easier for us to make Prepit global.
What do you both predict will be the biggest disruptors in 2025 that will have an impact on loyalty?
I guess AI technology is really advancing. Every single month we're seeing advance in a new model that comes up, and a new feature that comes up in AI. And AI has a lot to do with technology. When we're talking about recommendation models, propensity models, it's a major driver that I believe will change the game, not only 2025, but moving forward in the future. I also believe that white label solutions, now the market is changing from moving out of the aggregator model that was the only solution the tech avails in the past decade, I guess. And the market is moving more towards building white label solutions.
I think Karim said it all, but I guess if we are adding something that's a little bit different, I would say content. Content is huge, and I think that's more and more taking space in the mainstream. This is what brands are leveraging. Entertainment is king. So I think the way we see it, this opens up the room for creating different kinds of partnerships and really engaging with, as you were saying, if we're talking about Gen Z or we're talking about younger generations as well, this is what they know, this is how they engage, and this is the core of where the F&B market and other industries is going. So
even in Egypt, we've seen a lot of F&B brands,
yeah.
cooperating together to bring their loyal customers more value.
And we've seen technology.
They've done this, sure. And they've done this even in they've using this in seasonality, pushing orders, pushing sales at specific times. Yeah, and I guess this is trendy, and it's going to have a big impact moving forward in the future.
Thank you both so much for joining us on the Loyalize podcast. It's been a really insightful chat. I'm very, very interested to see what's to come.